And we're back with some more Winnipeg Jets historical challenge. And this one, we're going to get through the year one offseason and hopefully some of year number two. And it seems that the Washington Capitals are the Stanley Cup champions, going through Ottawa, New Jersey, Montreal, and Detroit. And so officially begins the offseason. So let's start out by seeing who we have to re-sign. We got Wheeler, Thomas, Slater, Pominville, Enstrom, Ladd. A lot of big names. All right, so I've gone ahead and signed every player that I wanted to, and the only players who are going to free agency are players who we weren't going to use in the NHL anyway. And now it's time for the award ceremony. For the Ted Lindsay, you have Sidney Crosby. For the Art Ross, you have Patrick Kane. For the Maurice Richard, you have Alex Ovechkin. For the Lady Byng, you have Louis Eriksson. For the Bill Masterton, you have Shane Doan. For the Mark Messier Leadership Award, you have Daniel Alfredson. And for the Jennings Trophy, you have Jimmy Howard. For the Hart, between Kane, Crosby, and Upshaw, is Sidney Crosby with 82 points. For the Conn Smythe, you have Mike Green of Washington. For the Calder, between Landeskog, Orlov, and Henrique, it's Gabriel Landeskog with 35 points. For the Norris, between Hamhuis, Boyle, and Petrangelo, it is Dan Hamhuis of Vancouver. For the Selke, between Upshaw, Gotch, and Cook, it is Marcel Gotch of Florida. For the Vezina, between Rask, Niemi, and Howard, is Jimmy Howard of Detroit. For the best GM, between Holland, Bowman, and Lou Lamoriello, it is Ken Holland, as Detroit had 59 wins this year. And for the best coach, between Babcock, Quenneville, and DeBoer, it is Babcock. It is now June 23rd, meaning we can sign some prospects if we want to. Don't think there's anyone I want to sign, so we will simply advance to the last day of the season on June 30th. And roll over to July 1st. We got 2 positive categories. We had a winning season and we met our objective. We unfortunately did get 1 negative category, and that was fail to reach the playoffs. And that means our total season score is 16. Obviously, career score also being 16. 3 available points. I think I will spend it on negotiating. All right, here we are on July 1st. Let's see what we need. We have Pavlich and Thomas in goal. Thomas, unfortunately, has fell to a 2-star ability, so that's certainly quite the drop. I mean, that was expected. He's 38. On defense, you have Ehrhoff, Enstrom, Bufflin, Bogosian, Wisnowski, Hainsey, Oduya, and Salmela. Would like to try to upgrade on defense if possible. At forward, you have Wheeler, Kane, Pominville, Ladd, Thorburn, Stafford, Fair, Frolov, Slater, Mahler, Gagnon, Wellwood, and Zubov. Zubov's only a 1-star ability, so definitely got to look into replacing him. So with that being said, let's see what's available in free agency. Goal, you have Ramo, Eriksson, Ahonen, Helenius. I guess it wouldn't hurt to have a 3rd stringer in case Thomas gets injured or something like that. Or in case he just falls off due to his age. So I guess maybe Ramo wouldn't hurt. See his career stats. 867 save percentage last year in Finland. That's a bit ugly. What about Eriksson? He's 22. 879 last year in Sweden. Ahonen, he's 31 years of age. 883 in Finland. So it looks like these are all goaltenders who have not participated in the NHL, or at least the ones up here are. May as well give Eriksson a shot. I mean, he's young, he's 22, so there's always the chance that he could grow over the course of the season. They'll offer him a contract. We could also always call up Pasquale if necessary. 1.5-star talent at 21 years of age. So I think we're done in goal. See on defense. All right, it doesn't look like there's going to be much in free agency here this year. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything beyond a 2-star ability. Goran Bazina looks interesting. Personality's good. I like that. Even though he's 32, he does look like he might help us out here. Yeah, he might not be a bad one to have, so I think I will sign him. I mean, it says quality of the contract is terrible, but we do have a lot of cap space remaining, so I'll give him 2 years. It's not like we have any longer than that anyway. We only have till the end of 2013-14, I believe. He really wants that 3 years. I just offered him 2 years with more money, and he took me down on the asking price there. I think I'll give a chance to Brandon Bochenski. He doesn't have a great defensive category, but the offensive category is actually pretty good for a 2-star ability. Personality is good. What did he do last year? In the AHL, he had 79 points, so certainly capable of scoring. May as well see what he can do at the NHL level. His contract's pretty good as well. I'll also be signing Vaclav Nedorost, the 2-star ability, 30 years of age, not really weak anywhere besides maybe hitting a little bit. Last year he had 73 points at the Czech Republic, 76th grade, and a pretty good contract, so I will submit that to him. And here's the draft lottery, only 5 teams in it, so this is when the draft lottery was a bit different. So at number 5 you have Carolina, number 4 you have Toronto, number 3 Columbus, and at number 1 will be the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, that checks out. It's 2012, right? This is the Yakupov draft, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, this is the Yakupov draft. So that'll be interesting to see who goes first overall. So where are we picking? We are at number 9. So going first overall to the Edmonton Oilers will be Morgan Riley. It's an interesting turn of events. At number 2 will be Jacob Slavin to the Colorado Avalanche. And then Andrei Vasilevsky to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Number 4 will be Philip Forsberg to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Number 5 will be Devon Taves to the Carolina Hurricanes. Number 6 will be Alex Galchenyuk to the Minnesota Wild. Then Matt Dumba to the Buffalo Sabres at number 7. And number 8 will be Jacob Trouba to the Anaheim Ducks. Connor Hellebuyck's on the board. We just get this. We just get him as they did in real life. I mean, Yakupov is the most NHL ready. So for the purposes of this challenge, it would be a good idea to get him. But I do at the same time also want to make this sensible decision and get Hellebuyck. So I wonder if there's a trade I could pull off to get Yakupov just as like a temporary measure, because you can't deny he would help out here in this upcoming year with his offensive ratings and physical ratings. His personality is good. He had 65 points last year in 54 games played in Russia. There's also Tomas Hertl, but not nearly as close to NHL ready as Yakupov is. Yeah, I want to see if there's a trade I could make for Yakupov. So who's picking after us? You got Tampa, Nashville, New York. Frolov, Stapleton, a second for 2 years from now, and this year's 4th will work for the Rangers' first round pick. So I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm not going to make that trade yet, just in case Yakupov goes between now and then. But that's the most realistic trade here. That wouldn't cost an arm and a leg. So I'm going to take Hellebuyck first, and then presuming Yakupov is still available on the Rangers pick, I'll make the trade for the Rangers pick and take Yakupov. So Hellebuyck, welcome to the Winnipeg Jets. Next pick, Derek Pouliot, and current pick is on Nashville, Tomas Hertl. So he is still there. What was again? Frolov, Stapleton, and then a second and a 4th. Offer trade. Finalized. There it is. So with that, we are once again on the clock, and we will be taking Nail Yakupov. Welcome to the Winnipeg Jets. Simulating ahead to the 3rd round now. Let's see if there's going to be any NHL, or at least close to NHL ready players. I don't think so. It looks like most of the 18-year-olds that are left are half-star abilities. Obviously, there's Peterson and Sorensen and Bonds, but we don't even have them scouted at all. So we're not even sure if that's a legitimate 1.5 star ability. I mean, there's Panarin. Panarin's in the draft there as a 20-year-old. Yeah, may as well. And round number 5 now, there's Kuznetsov. You know what? Sure, why not? Let's overload on Russians here. And then round 6, no one's really catching my attention here, so I'll just have the computer finish the draft. And with that being done, let's sign Nail Yakupov. So we have him on the roster for next year. All right, good. We got Bazina, we got Nedorost, we got Bochenski, we got Eriksson, and of course, we got Yakupov. So I believe with that, we are set to go to advance to the next season. I'm not sure if there's any trades I want to make right away, because I kind of just want to see how this roster does. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm just going to really quick check the coaching free agency, because there's bound to be some new coaches in there since we rolled over the year. Yeah, there's definitely some new coaches, but not any that I'm particularly fond of over our current staff, so I think we're fine there. In time for the Hall of Fame inductions, you have Joe Sakic, Mark Howe, Phil Hughley, and Ed Belfour. All right, time for the prospects tournament. In goal, we may as well get Hellebuyck, then we'll go with Eriksson. On defense, oh dear. We only have 3 defensemen who qualify as prospects, so may as well put them all in there. And then go to all players. Get a look at Simek, Nelson, and Fantenberg. And at forward, Yakupov, Scheifele, Panarin, Kuznetsov, Klingberg, Lowry, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That works out. So here's a look at the prospects tournament. We won all 5 games against our opponents. We won against the Sharks 4-3. Shots were 36-21. 3 stars of the game, Yoon, Connolly, and Ozefel. Now Yakupov scored as well. Game against Calgary, we won 5-1. Shots were 46-23. 3 stars of the game, Yakupov, Scheifele, and Yoon. Against Edmonton, we won 2-0. Shots were 57-19. 3 stars of the game, Makarov, Musil, and Brassard. Against New Jersey, we won 2-1. Shots were 52-18. We seem to be out shooting these teams like crazy here. 3 stars of the game, Kincaid, Sislo, and Brassard. And then against Pittsburgh, we won 2-1. Shots were 41-21. 3 stars of the game, Scheifele, Gasser, and Gibbons. All right, so we finished the preseason. Some pretty good performances in there. Kane and Wheeler with 6 points in 7 games played. Yeah, Wisnowski with 4 points in 5 games played. And in goal, a .944 save percentage for Pavlich. So very interesting. Hopefully he can keep that going. We lost our first 2 games against New Jersey and Nashville, but then we won 5 in a row against Calgary, Ottawa, San Jose, Boston, and Montreal. Looking pretty promising here, but obviously only time will tell. With that, let's get the regular season underway, but not before we set our final roster. So Eriksson could go down to the AHL. That'll free up a spot. We have a lot of defensemen, so I'm going to send down Salmela. I'll put Ehrhoff on the injured reserve for right now. That brings us to 7. Then at forward, I'll send down Zubov, and that should do it for right now. All right, now we will get the regular season underway. Fleury on waivers. Whoa, interesting. And I guess there's no harm in claiming Fleury, considering the fact that our salary is only at 49 million right now, and the ceiling's at 77 million. And it's not like we're trying to develop any young goaltenders right now. And even if we were, this is a 3-year challenge, and we're already in year number 2. So why not? We'll try it. See if we get him. I can't imagine that we're the only team who placed a claim for him, but we'll see what happens. Let's see. Did we get Fleury? No, I didn't think so. Yeah, another team definitely placed a claim for him. Where'd he go? Just out of curiosity. He went to Toronto. Yeah, I figured we wouldn't be the only team to place a claim for him. Not with a goalie that good on waivers. Oh well, I mean, you can't say I didn't try. I mean, I debated it for a little bit, but I said, you know what? It's worth a shot. Why not? But unfortunately, it seems Toronto did get priority on the waiver wire, so that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's not like we're particularly struggling in goal anyway. The media is already at it. First game into the season, they're criticizing Pominville for his play when he had a 71 defensive grade and one of the better grades on the team. Oh man. I mean, I know he didn't have any points in that game, but still, it's a bit harsh. There were other players who you could have criticized there that it would have made sense, but I guess the good players are always going to get more attention. Ehrhoff is back. Oh right, it just occurred to me. This is the lockout year in real life, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was the lockout year, where it was only like a half a year. So now we'll get to see a possibility of what might have been if that year was played out in full. Oh dear, oh dear, oh no, what's going on here? What? How did all this happen so quickly? Last time I checked this, it was fine. What happened over the summer? I mean, I guess that could partially explain our 3-6 record right now. So not starting out on the greatest note, either as far as our record goes or with the team harmony. And it seems like basically everybody's in a clique of some sort. All right, let's see if there's any personalities that are causing trouble here. I can't imagine I would have let that slip though, if there is, because I'm usually pretty good at staying on top of that. Yeah, I mean, most of the personalities on this team aren't ideal, but there's no one who I saw would cause any issues in the locker room. At least as far as what the screen with the personalities was telling me. Looks like Dustin Byfuglien is not a popular guy right now, unfortunately. He is obviously one of our better players, at least as far as overall ability goes. It looks like he's not having the greatest year right now, only 3 points in 9 games played. So let's see what's going on here. I mean, yeah, lack of scoring. That figures. That was kind of our struggle last year too. In goal, not great, but not bad either. I mean, the goals saved above averages are almost at 0, so it's not bad, but it's not good either. So in other words, Thomas and Pavlich are just average this year. Let's see these team stats. Guarantee you goals for per game is way down there. Oh yeah, we're 28th in the league. 1.56. Yeah, that needs to change. That needs to change. Goals against per game, we're 11th with a 2.78. That's not bad. Face-offs, we are absolutely dreadful. 29th in the league, 44.7. Power play, we are, I would imagine, kind of down there. We're 17th for the power play, 15.4. Not as bad as I thought it would be, but still pretty bad. Penalty kill, 85.2, 11th in the league. So defense is pretty good, all things considered, but offense definitely needs some work. Like, we're not going to be making the playoffs with the roster as it is. We need to, either we're going to need an offensive head coach, so instead of Hitchcock, get somebody else, or we're going to need to make a significant trade for a really good offensive player. Because as of right now, even our good offensive players like Wheeler, Byfuglien, Pominville, they're all struggling. I would say the only guy who's performing the way he did last season at the very least is Kane. Ladd, only 3 points. Thorburn, I know he's not a point-getting kind of guy, but as a 3.5-star ability, and you might be able to get some for him in a trade. But on the flip side, he's also got a really good defensive category, and he's probably one of the main contributors to our defensive game. Actually, well, now that I look at his defensive grade, it's only a 52. Interesting that he has a defensive category that good, as defensive rating's not good. He must not fit in with the system, is what I'm thinking. Even Wisniewski, who I traded for specifically for his offense, only has 1 point so far this season, and he only had 2 points last season in 17 games. Yeah, I think, honestly, this might be a coaching issue, because you're seeing all kinds of guys who are supposed to be offensive players struggling. But then again, is Hitchcock the reason we're doing so well defensively? Like, would we suffer that much defensively under an offensively based coach? Or would it still be at a respectable level, considering some of the defensive players we have on this team, like Ehrhoff, Hainsey, Bogosian, not to mention Pominville. Pominville's really good defensively as well. Thorburn, I don't know. I think a coaching change might be in order here. Maybe we go for someone with a standard preference. So maybe Daryl Sutter. The only thing I don't really like about Sutter is his low tactics and kind of low player management as well. But I'm considering him. Bobo Cosgrove. Interesting. He may not have the best coaching ratings over here, but I'm pretty sure that's just for developing prospects and young players. It's over here that really matters, the miscellaneous ratings for winning games. And he's got 15 motivation. Discipline could be a bit higher. Player management is kind of amp, but whatever. Like the rest of him is really good. Tactics is at 19, in-game tactics 14. And then preferences, offensive preference, balanced physical. Yeah, I think he might be the front runner right now. Yeah, nobody else even comes close to him as far as miscellaneous ratings go of guys who are on this screen. Yeah, I think I'm gonna release Hitchcock. We need something. We'll have an impact on job security. What's my job security at right now? It's not terrible. Assuming that Cosgrove can help this team get back to winning form, then I'd say this would be a firing well worth it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Hire as head coach. There you go. All right, so what's my job security at now? Yeah, it took a little bit of a hit. That's fine. As long as Cosgrove can do his job and get some sort of winning back on this team, that's all I care about. So there might be a little bit of a transition period for this team for getting used to a new system, but hopefully it'll pay off in the end. All right, so we're on December 1st. We're 9-10-1. I think it's better than we would have been if we had held on to Hitchcock as our head coach. That being said, there is obviously still a lot of room for improvement. So if we can manage to get above 500 in this month, then I think we'll be looking pretty good, as we are currently only, I believe, 4 points behind is what I saw. Yeah, we're only 4 points behind 8th. So we just got to string a winning streak together here, and we should be, oh, that's great. Lost against Tampa, lost against Boston, lost against Carolina. Come on, guys. I thought this was going to be a good change, but apparently not. All right, I think we got to do something about this here. Considering the fact that we are currently last in the Southeast Division, we are 12 points behind the Carolina Hurricanes, who are in 8th. It is time to make a couple of serious trades here. First trade will be to the Columbus Blue Jackets. We'll be offering Oscar Mahler, 23 years of age. Hasn't really been doing much this season, only 5 points, 55 grade, not really good defensively. Then you have Jim Slater, 30 years of age, 2.5-star ability. Once again, not really much of an offensive producer. His defensive grade this year hasn't been too great as we take a look at the roster. Yeah, only a 55 defensive grade, so we'll be moving on from him, plus a 4th and 5th round pick for this year. And we'll be moving all that in exchange for Derek Brassard, the 25-year-old left wing. He's got a pretty good personality, and a look at his career stats: 17 points so far this season. He had 41 last year, 63 grade overall, at the 66 offensive grade. Let's offer this up to Columbus, and hopefully they accept. They already have 50 players under contract, so we need to take somebody back. Let's take Martinek since he's on the trade block, and now that actually increases the likelihood of their accepting this. So actually, I wonder if I could get away with taking off the 4th here. So Mahler, Slater, and a 5th for Brassard and Martinek. Now here is the big trade that we're going to be making today. To Minnesota will be Zach Bogosian, the 22-year-old defenseman. He has not been having a good year this year so far. Defensively, he's been all right. He's got a 61 defensive grade, but he's holding our offense back a little bit, only 6 points. And we, with Bufflin struggling right now offensively, only 8 points in 32 games played. We really need to get someone offensively based on the back end. So I decided to trade Bogosian in the hopes that Bufflin is able to get his offensive touch back, because he was pretty good offensively last season. He had 37 points last season, but for whatever reason this year he's just not there. It looks like he's definitely struggling a little bit. So this trade is partially to help get Bufflin going. Then you have Aaron Gagnon, 26 years of age. This year he has 13 points so far, so he's not doing too bad as far as offense goes, that 59 grade. But that being said, what we're getting back in return, you got to give up something to get something. And the rights to Jason Gregoire, not really too concerned about him. 1.5 star ability, 1.5 star potential. And then a 7th round pick just to make the trade go through. And coming back the other way will be Matt Cullen. He's 36 years of age, so a veteran center here. Very good defensively and physically. 9 points so far on the season with a 66 grade. So you know that means that he's got a good defensive grade, as we see. Yeah, 67 defensive grade. Oh, and Minnesota is 13, 20, and 3. So this trade would definitely make sense for them, as they're getting rid of a veteran in exchange for a young defenseman. And actually not just a veteran, multiple veterans. We're also going to be getting Mark Zidlitsky back, who's 35 years of age, very good offensively, so he's the replacement for Zach Bogosian. I said I wanted to increase offense. That's exactly what we're doing here with Zidlitsky. He's got 16 points so far in the season, 62 grade. But that's not even the last piece of this trade. Last but certainly not least, Danny Heatley. That is right. So far this season, he got 23 points, 15 goals. We need goal scorers. He's got a 62 average grade. So I know we're trading for a lot of old guys here, but you know what? It's a 3-year challenge. We may as well, you know? So Bogosian, Gagnon, the rights to Gregoire, and a 7th for Cullen, Zidlitsky, and Heatley offer trade. That's a big one. There it is. Both teams have accepted our trade offers. So to Columbus will be Oscar Mahler, Jim Slater, and a 5th round pick in exchange for Brassard and Martinek, complete trade. And then to Minnesota will be Bogosian, Gagnon, a 7th round pick, and the rights to Gregoire in exchange for Cullen, Zidlitsky, and Heatley, complete trade. My goodness, that is... And I would say we have pretty significantly altered the image of the Winnipeg Jets here. So hopefully those trades can help us out, as we are currently 14, 19, and 1. This challenge is certainly proving to be very difficult as we continue to slide further down the standings and our chances of making the playoffs become slimmer by the day. So let's hope that does something for us here, and let's continue on with the simulation. But not before we send somebody down. We have too many players on the roster. It may as well be Martinek. All right, so standings update. We're within 5 points of 8th now. We're closing the gap slowly on Carolina, but we do need to keep this up here. Look at our schedule. We have won 2 of 3 so far in February. Going back to January, you got a win against Carolina, a win against New Jersey, a loss against the Islanders, but a win against Ottawa. So we've certainly been winning more as of late. We need to keep it up here if we want any chance to make the play. Oh, Wheeler's out. Oh dear, looks long term. Yep. 1 to 2 months. That is very unfortunate. We are losing that 4.5 star player for a good amount of time there. Yeah, that's not good. So hopefully we won't be missing Wheeler too much, but I have a feeling that's going to hurt quite a bit. Oh, new achievement. Win a game 1-0 despite giving up 40 or more shots. Oh, are you kidding me? Heatley's out now too. 2 to 3. Oh boy. Injuries are not being friendly to us right now. You got Wheeler and Heatley out now. Really? Lad? 1-2 weeks. All right. It's not too long, but still, solid few games without our captain there. Now the game's got Buffalo moving up to forward. So I suppose we're going to have to call somebody up here. Wow, we really do not have much forward depth. Klingberg, I guess. Boy, really? Cullen? The injuries are piling up. I mean, at least it's day to day, but still. That means we're going to have to call up yet another forward. And it's probably going to be Burmeistrov, I would say, just to get another center in there. Yeah, losing Ladd, Heatley, and Wheeler really has not been favorable for us during the past stretch, as we lost against Carolina, lost against Tampa, lost against Florida, lost against Washington. We're on a 4-game losing streak right now, and yeah, it's not looking good, to say the least. We have about 18 games left, and we have 8 points to make up on 8th with the Florida Panthers. So we really got to go on a winning streak, and I'm not too confident in that happening, to be honest, especially not without Wheeler or Ladd or Heatley, who's gone for the season more than likely. And if he does return, that'll be for like the 3rd round or something like that. All right, Ladd is back. Wheeler's back now too. Yeah, getting Ladd and Wheeler back really did a lot for us. As soon as they came back, we went on a 6-game winning streak. So we're now 36, 32, and 7. Where does that leave us in the standings? 79 points. We are still 5 points back of 8th. It's kind of unlikely, but I guess we still have a shot. We would have to win out of these next 7 games. I would say at least 5, if not 6 or all 7. It's definitely gonna be tough. And actually, one of them is against Florida. So we need to win that game against Florida no matter what. Like, that is a must win. If we don't win that game, then every other win before it would be just nullified. Seems we have won 4 out of 5 so far. Wins against the Rangers, Islanders, Philadelphia, and Buffalo. We only lost against Detroit, but that game against Florida, once again, very important. As we check the standings, yup, that is a very important game right there. And I'm glad we won against the Islanders too, because they're right ahead of us as well. All right, big game against Florida. Come on, boys. Ugh. And we probably just lost the playoffs right there. Yeah, in fact, we did just lose the playoffs right there. I mean, I guess we wouldn't have gotten in anyway. That would have only been 91 points, even if we had won against Florida. And they would still have 92, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate. But, man, we were so close. We lost way too much at the start of the season, I think. If we had just had this roster at the start of the season, I think we could have made it into the playoffs. And obviously, if Wheeler and Ladd and Heatley hadn't all gotten injured at basically the same time, then I think we also could have made it then. But, you know, those sort of things happen. So I guess next year we just got to make sure we stay healthy and maybe acquire somebody else out of free agency or a trade. And assuming we can manage that, I think this team genuinely has the talent to make it into the playoffs next year. Before we end it off, let's take a look at the final season stats. You have Evander Kane leading the team with 75 points in 82 games played. Then Jadlitsky with 54 points. 36 of those were with us in 48 games played. So he definitely enjoyed coming here to Winnipeg. Then you have Blake Wheeler with 47 and 62. Heatley with 41 also in 62, and 15 of those were with us. Ladd with 39, 37 for Pominville, 34 for Wisnowski and Brassard, 25 for Cullen, 23 for Stafford and Enstrom, 22 for Ehrhoff, 21 for Bufflin. Definitely a slow season for him. Hopefully he can pick it up next year. Fair and Wellwood with 19, 16 for Thorburn, 13 for Hainsey, 12 for Bochenski and Neterost, 10 for Yakupov, 9 for Oduya, and 2 for Klingberg and Burmistrov. And in goal, you have Pavlich with a .918 save percentage in 57 games played and 5 shutouts. And Tim Thomas in 28 games played with a .919 save percentage and also 5 shutouts. So a pretty good play from Pavlich and Thomas. We just didn't have enough early on to make up for the injuries to Wheeler and Ladd and Heatley. So it's unfortunate, but I genuinely do believe that if this team stays healthy next year, that we can make the playoffs with how much talent we have on the team now. And assuming, you know, guys like Jadlitsky and Cullen don't drop off too much. And then you also have Wisnowski, right? So a lot of veterans on this team, but I think we can make it work. So that being said, I think I'll end things off here. And in the next one, we will go through year number 3 with your Winnipeg Jets.